How to learn about money and investing and what no one tells you. You are going to be thrilled or really irritated by the time I'm done talking to you today. Because some of you are gonna why wasn't I told these things? I love that reaction from my clients. That's my favorite reaction, is I didn't learn this in school and I didn't even know about it. I think what I'm gonna tell you today should be taught in junior high. 6th, 7th, and 8th grade should easily be taught these concepts. So then you can choose to go be an employee. You could choose to be an entrepreneur. You could actually choose to start investing and knowing what's going on. And stop blaming your parents. They did their best to do whatever they did to you. You're now a grown adult if you're 18 years old and listening to this. There's two big things that we do in our community, especially if you're at the big table. We teach you teams and systems. And even some of you that are watching that are at the big table, you're still not using enough team and enough system appropriately. You've got to use a team, you got to use a system. Two of the biggest mistakes that I made is I didn't hire fast enough and I didn't grow them fast enough and I wasn't willing to spend the money on the systems. You have to spend money on the systems like your database, your basic CRM to build so you have somebody to always sell to. All right, so who taught you about money and what were the conversations? We need to flip it. You're gonna live, I want you to write it down, in the act as if principle. You're gonna act as if you're becoming a millionaire. This is the 3 to 5 year plan. It has worked since 2006. We've made thousands and thousands of millionaires, all 6 continents around the world. So if you say, well, that works for other people, not me, again, notice your psychology. Wrong language, wrong conversation. When you say you can't afford it, that's not the conversation. It's what do you want and what are you willing to do is the conversation. You can afford anything you want if you actually put your mind to it and got good mentoring and good coaching and a sequence to it. Now, let's go to the next topic. What books do you need to read? Mine. All right, so we're gonna start. I'll go through the books. And some of you might know, but I actually think that there's a lot of you that think this is all happening in osmosis. So, meaning you're not reading them. You need to dig in. This is the book number 1. So the way you read the Millionaire Maker book is you read chapters 1 to 3. You do a gap analysis, you go over to Ask Loral, and you send it in and say, could I talk to somebody on Loral's team one-on-one about my gap? So a gap is where are you and what do you want? Right? I call it your freedom day. There's no such thing as retirement. That's an agricultural word that means to put cattle to pasture or die. You're not a cow, you're not dying. So if you've quit your job or you're technically, according to the public world, retired, I would just say I'm in a transition. Stop using the word retired. Stop using words that don't benefit you. So I want a gap analysis. Then you're going to go on and read the sequencing. Sequencing is our secret sauce. Right? I kind of created that as I became a millionaire because what I realized in my mentoring is I was doing a lot of the right things. I would bet a lot of you, put in the chat below, how many of you are doing the right things? I bet a lot of you are doing the right things, but they're out of order. So sequencing is do the right thing at the right time, right? And then with mentoring and coaching, you avoid costly mistakes, you pick up the speed, you get teams and systems, and you get a hell of a Rolodex from a great mentor. So let's move. Then what you do is you read the rest of the book. And you can kind of skim it, kind of get into the first couple chapters. There's 7 families that are true stories. They all became millionaires. And there's these cool blueprints on what we did to help them move. You know, bring your brain, like how does the pattern? This was their sequence and their pattern. So what's yours? So once you figure that out, then we got to keep moving. What other book do you read? Well, now you got to make a bunch of money. I'm going to come back to this one in a little bit. This is how to build a 6, 7-figure business. Right? If you're really, really good, we can take you to 8. So cash machine is a term I use. I would rather have you have a cash machine than a business because the statistic of business is 90% fail. The reason why 6 figures is difficult to get to is because we're taught to be employees, not entrepreneurs. This is not a difficult conversation. You just don't know. And then the other part that just makes it challenging, not only in business, but there's so much crap that's on the internet and it's out of order, it's out of sequence, it's little pieces and you have to put it together. You're not the coach, you're not the mentor, you're not the person who knows how to put all these pieces together. Meaning, if you think about your wealth team, you might have a marketing specialist in your business, right? You may have a sales team, you may have an accountant, you may have a financial planner, you may have somebody in insurance. Who's coaching? Who's quarterbacking that whole team playing together? That's my job, is to educate you and then you lead your team. All right, so I know a lot of you think I give advice. I don't. I wouldn't even know how to walk that way and give advice. I give education and I give a sequence to what can get you there faster. But a business is critical. So how do you become a millionaire? You got to make money, right? And again, I'm giving you a bunch of gifts at the end of this recording. So make sure you stay tuned because we got to give you a bunch of gifts away. Now, once you start making it, guess what you'd have to do next? You need to keep it inside corporate structure. I want you to go to the search bar and look up how to live corporate life. I want you to write, do a whole piece on tax deductions, because all of you probably are not deducting enough because you're scared of the IRS. The IRS is your friend. Yes, they've just hired 87,000 new agents. Don't get all worried about being audited. If you're doing everything right, we do things the way we teach you, which is super responsible and not commingled and super organized, you should be fine. Right? And if you're not fine, call us again, go to askloral.com. You can tell that's where I want all your questions on a regular basis if we're not live out here. Now, once you learn to make it and keep it, you have to learn to invest it. I'm going to come back to this topic and go thoroughly through what is a wealth cycle. I made that word up because what I noticed is you're in a lifestyle cycle. So wealth cycle investing is when you make it and you invest it. So income to assets, and then you get this cycle of money moving through your life. I want you to start it as young as your teenagers. Parents, you have to help your kids until they're 18 and a legal adult. Once you start making, keeping, and investing, you got to use a team. So I've spent over 20 years assembling a team that are licensed, that are advisors, that can give you the advice. I educate you, I hand you out to them, and they are an amazing team for you if you're serious about this. How do you make money fast? You got to sell something. Don't make this so difficult, right? Money is in somebody else's pocket. It now needs to come to your pocket. So how do you get someone else to pay you? Product or service? What can you do? And what's simple? Like being an affiliate is a simple one, right? You can sell all this stuff, right? The game, you get 50%. The books, you get 50%. You can sell all that. You sell my Gen W conference. Help fill up. We want, 300, 400, 500 people in that ballroom in Reno, Nevada at the Grand Sierra Resort. Again, you can fly in the morning. I just took a flight from Florida. I left a little before 7 in the morning and I landed in Reno before noon. Registration's at noon. The hotel's a few minutes away, so you can come from anywhere in the country. You can get there, get over to the Grand Sierra, you get registered. We start at 1 o'clock. We're going to go till about 6. And we're going to do this awesome networking that Bob Proctor taught me back in the day. I can't tell you what it is because you got to come to do it. We are not live streaming that event, so do not count on a live stream going on. Why? Because we need you in the room. We need you there, and we want a live physical, high touch. You're going to get really high touch event. You're going to get this legacy book where you start designing your legacy. We're doing this 3 years in a row. So my commitment when I launched the NFT in my book was a 3-year conference. So we're going to do a Gen W, which is Generational Wealth Conference. You go to genwealthconference.com. We're going to do it this year. Then next year, you're going to do a whole bunch of activities. You're going to come back. We're going to add to it. And then you're going to come back. We're going to add to it. You have a whole plan. You should have your trust done by then. You should have it funded. You should have your entities. You should have conversations with your children. How are we going to live and how are you going to acquire whatever you've done? Like whatever I've got, I've been in conversations with Logan since 18. Tristan's 15. She's already starting these conversations. So I'm not doing this to hand to a bunch of bratty kids, right? This whole book is a tool guide, step-by-step tool to raise responsible, consequence-driven kids that actually are going to help fix this place. It's a disaster out there if you haven't noticed. It's really rough out there. So make money quick. You're going to go to my marketplace. We already have it all wired. We know how to help you make money. Those of you coming back to the big table, October 29th, 30th, we will put in a marketplace so you can all make money in our marketplace live for the first time in a long time. So make sure, again, it's a 5-day experience for those of you in the big table. 26th, 27th, 28th, Gen W. Night of the 28th, we transition. You're in the big table, you stay. 29th, 30th, bring your stuff. So if you have books to bring, you have a CBD, you have a wine, you do cards, you do whatever you do, bring your stuff because you will be selling in a marketplace on the 29th for hours making money inside our big table. And guess what? That hotel's huge. I might even do an old activity where I send you out into the public, down to the casinos and make money and get huge rewards for just going for it. Yeah. You all have great stuff. Your choice to become a millionaire is right in front of you. So go to askloral.com, fill out like a gap analysis, get in conversation with our team. This and Gen W is what I need you to do. I need you to read. This will prepare you for the conference that's coming in 2 months, right? So that I get you organized and structured. If there's a question once we end our broadcast that you have, again, go to askloral.com and we're there 24/7 to help you become a millionaire. So I hope I shared some stuff about money investing, stuff they'll never tell you. There's a really, really cool one. I'm going to end you with the big secret called multiple corporate strategies. See, not all companies file taxes at the same time. S Corps, LLCs, limited partnerships all file with you on December 31st. Your C Corp can file whenever it wants during the year. I like to see my clients do around June 30th. And you have 6 months to use multiple strategies to execute the entire 81,000 pages of tax code, and let our teams do it. I have a huge CPA, bookkeeping teams who help you execute this. It is not your job to pay bills and do all that anymore. It's your job to make money and be successful and hang out with us millionaires. Talk to you next time. Hope you enjoyed.